When we booked a ferry from one country to another country, we were maybe even a little too excited for the adventure. I'm so excited. I don't think I've ever been on a car ferry. This feels like the highlight of the trip.
This is the highlight of all the things that we've done. This is the highlight of your trip, getting on a ferry. What we didn't account for were all the things that could go wrong on a ferry journey.
So we arrived this morning at 10:30 for our 11:30 ferry.
And when we pulled in, there were no cars in the parking lot, none lined up. And so I was like, what's going on here? Did we just miss the ferry?
Turns out the ferry was canceled and no one sent us an email.
So I walked into the information and said, okay, what's going on? They let me know it was canceled. The good news was that they may have another ferry at 3:30, maybe. The bad news is that given the Irish weather, they really have no idea, and there's gusts of wind up to 28 to 40 miles per hour out there on the sea. So it was kind of like, all right, come back at 2:30 and we'll see how it looks. Oh yeah.
Your booking reference?
Yes. Some of the more details that you really need to know if you are taking the ferry is that you want to arrive at least an hour early to get checked in, especially if you have a car. We brought our car with us, or our rental car with us. Also, if you're needing to use the toilet or grab a coffee beforehand, you can do that right over there in the passenger lounge.
We also weren't 100% sure if you could bring a rental car from Northern Ireland to Scotland, so we Googled it and we found a bunch of contradicting articles. And Andrew said, oh, it seems like we can drive the car over as long as the ferry doesn't sink. But in all seriousness, you can bring a rental car from Scotland to Northern Ireland, but you will get charged extra if you bring it into the Republic of Ireland, because that is a separate country.
And they said, fingers crossed that the weather holds off and stays nice. Yeah, so we're hoping to get back because we have Airbnbs booked, we have to get our car back, and these are some things to think about when you get the ferry.
I will say the sea looks pretty choppy, and we just ate like the most.
So much food.
Like every member of the staff brought something to the table.
Yeah, we had like a 4-course meal at a coffee place. I'm already feeling a little seasick.
Once you get your car loaded onto the ferry, grab whatever you want for the journey because you can't come back down here once all passengers are loaded.
We're on the Stena Line from Belfast to Carnryan, Scotland. The journey takes about 2.5 hours, and really we've been so surprised because it's not just like a normal ferry, it's like a cruise ship.
If you didn't book a recliner, lounge, or bed, yes, they have a bed on these ferries, which we'll show you all of those spots later, then the first thing you want to do when you get on is run on over and find yourself a seat, because the ferry is loaded with travelers like us, families, workers, and full tour buses. Honestly, it's not quite as busy as our journey over here was, which was on a weekend. Today's a Wednesday, so that might be a little hack for you too. Now, we're gonna get a little work done because there is free Wi-Fi on the ship, and then we'll give you a little tour. Can you see it on that?
Mm-hmm.
Pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. What happens if the ocean is at the end of a rainbow? Do you think there's treasure?
Probably.
I'm very aware that I'm on a rocky ship. I could not look at my computer screen anymore. Time for the ship tour. So behind us is the lounge where we were sitting and getting a little bit of work done. There's tons of seating and also a bar and shopping. Not something I expected to find. A restaurant, casual dining. This is the only full restaurant. Then there's the bar in the lounge we were in, and there's a cafe upstairs. Can't skip this. There's a full arcade on the ship. Andrew couldn't resist. Also, he always comes in to these and then like dominates the high scores. I actually can't believe you went for that over the driving game.
Yes. We should probably go ahead and do some more touring, right?
To the upstairs. It's really quiet up here. It's like the calm lounge. Let's exit and go somewhere where we can talk. Okay, it's really quiet in that one, which is the living room. In there's more seating, as you can see, and then also the coffee shop. And then across the hall is the pod lounge and cinema. There's a cinema in here. Oh, and a casino. Then we have deck 10 for the Nordic Spa. Yeah, Nordic Spa on a ferry. Super fast suites, which are where the beds are. I don't think we can get in there, but we'll see what we can do. And the sundaeck, which won't be required right now. It is like 5 o'clock and it is nighttime already. But let's go up. You deserve a break. Welcome to the sundaeck. It's a bit breezy out here. Andrew was out here earlier today and got a little bit more light, and on our way here it was gorgeous. Still cold, but gorgeous. There are also 4 lounges on this ship, but only 3 of them you can upgrade to, because the first one is the Truckers Lounge, so that's obviously for truckers. The second is the Huget Lounge with recliners, which we upgraded to on the way here. Did you think it was worth it?
It was worth it if you're like, hey, I would like to nap the entire time, because I was out.
It's nice and quiet. You get a recliner, you can just kind of lean back and relax in. The third one is the beds, which we haven't been able to
I accidentally did. I was getting a view of the deck and I looked over and I was like, oh, there's people in bed just looking at me. So
awkward.
They look comfortable though.
And then the fourth is the Stena Plus Lounge, which is kind of like an airport lounge from what I could tell.
Yeah.
And they're pretty reasonable to upgrade to. Our recliner lounge was only £5 a person.
Yep.
Super reasonable. Now you might be wondering, why take a ferry? Honestly, we just thought it was the coolest thing ever that you can take a ferry to another country.
Well, why didn't they just fly, right? That's exactly why that we are taking the ferry, because we're like, well, we've never taken a ferry from one country to another. Like, that's an experience.
It was about the same price as a flight, except that we would have had to rent a second car, which would have ended up as more. So it just made sense for us.
Yep. We hope you enjoyed this video.
We'll see you on the next adventure.